Hi there, welcome to Terrorland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Pisces energy. I had just laid out the cards and kind of started talking about this first card when my phone died because I had too much in storage. So I cleaned that out and let's continue on with the story. We're going to talk about how different people are harnessing their Pisces energy right now. The reason for these cards coming out is because of the younger woman card. It says dealings or a relationship with a younger woman, but the card's in reverse. So, and I look at the feminines in the cards as being talking about people's emotional states. There could be some people who emotionally are kind of upside down in their life. Maybe feels like their life emotionally got tipped upside down. You could have been dealing with some people like that. And that's the reason why the reading came out. And when we realize that we're dealing with people who emotionally just might view life completely differently than we view life, we might realize that, through the end of this process that we need to let go of those people. Or if we ourselves, Pisces is represented by the Hangman card. I don't know. Maybe it's looking at life from a different perspective, but let's go see what the rest of the cards are. The first card out was September, which is Libra Virgo energy. So it could have to do with, we could have put in work and effort, or people are putting in work and effort right now to move forward with their long-term goals, because Virgo is about putting in work and effort for your long-term goals. And it's based on, in our Libra energy, what we think is just and fair. Some people's long-term goal is they're kind of caught up in the illusion of the world, and money and materialism is what's most important to them, or indulging in the things of the world they're sure are what's going to make them happy. And that's their long-term goal, is to keep investing in those things. With Pisces energies involved, it can be people who have illusions of love, and they want to invest in people who have the same illusions as love as them. But some people illusions are, I think don't have to be just and fair, that it's all about money or materialism, or you should indulge me in my ego, or whatever, We'll figure out the story more as we go. And then we have the beetle in reverse, good fortune. So realizing that some of the people you had been dealing with that harness their Pisces, Virgo, and Libra energy differently than you do. High vibe, it's about growing and maturing yourself and not wanting to continue to feel emotionally upside down in your life, wanting to get balance within yourself, wanting to deal with your fears and insecurities and your emotional confusion to move forward in life and be free. So, something that you thought was going to happen maybe in the month of September, or dealing with a Libra or a Virgo, or someone you thought would be just and fair, if that's a job or a relationship, realizing that it's not good fortune. And then we have the victory card, victory in some endeavor, and the sunrise. So, in tarot, a victory card would kind of be like the Six of Wands. If we were dealing with something where either we were in our pride and ego and like emotionally confused, people did the work to be motivated and inspired to realize what wasn't working in their life and to take the action in the sunrise, which is like Leo energy, to love and believe in yourself and believe that you can have a new day, and that if you offer yourself love and compassion and respect and forgiveness for the lessons that you've had to learn, you can free yourself to move forward in life differently. The sunrise card here says new creative ideas, new ventures, a fresh start. Then we have the heart card, love, deep affection, and caring. The shield card, kind of in reverse, you need to defend yourself. So wanting to be in a position where we're not emotionally upside down, kind of letting our shadow nature run our life, our fear, our insecurity, our more immature, indulgent nature, or our more emotionally defensive nature, or lustful or greedy nature. If we were living more from our mind than our heart, if we had been moving forward thinking we could keep moving forward in that way, people realize that if they keep moving forward in that way, they're not going to have the victory they want in their life. They're not going to have maybe the loving, warm relationships that they want. And it starts within ourself. We have to align with love and hope and faith and belief in ourselves. Quit aligning with our more fearful, insecure, immature way and being kind of manipulated by those things within us. We have the free will choice to invest energy into letting go and learning the lessons we were meant to learn. That there's things, if things that we've been working with, or people we've been working with, or thoughts and emotions we choose to sit in, doesn't bring us the results we want, and we want to have victory and success in love, then we need to do the work to realize, and, because the truth sets us free, to see what helps us move forward in life and what works against us moving forward in life. And sometimes it's just mastering our own thoughts and our emotions and learning to invest in being more balanced within ourselves, offering the love and the compassion and forgiveness to ourselves, so we're not tipped out of balance so much in our fear and our insecurities and things. To love ourselves, we have the free will choice. The rest of the world can kick us to the curb and throw us under the bus. We're the only person we control. So that could be part of the story, is people learning that I deserve to treat myself with love and respect and kindness. If I'm treating other people with love and respect and kindness and being just and fair, and they're not doing that same work within themselves to discipline their more fearful or shadowy ways of being, then my dreams can't come into reality with them. And there might be some people, just like we have to distance ourselves and get out of our shadowy nature, when we quit indulging in our more shadowy nature or worldly focused nature or ego focused nature, we're going to distance ourselves from other people that we might have been hanging out with that continue to live their life that way. So then, and the people who are on the same page as us and are doing that same work within them, those are the people that we move forward with. And then we have, because we don't want to have to be in relationships where we feel like we have to defend ourselves. And we shouldn't have to constantly defend ourselves. If we want to not have our fears nagging on us and all that stuff, we have to learn to love ourselves, to soothe ourselves, to mature ourselves, to realize, not letting our mind run our life. We can master our thoughts and our emotions. We just maybe have to learn the tools of how to do that. Then we have haystack in reverse. Karma, you will reap what you have sown. And this is kind of like trying to find the needle in the haystack, which you could look at a needle as like a sword of truth. What is the truth? And some people did the work within themselves to see the truth that if I want to feel stable and grounded within myself, I have to quit investing my time, energy, and effort into things that don't make me feel loved and balanced and, like I'm on the right path. I need to take the steps to get on the right path and to let maybe down my guard and finally see that needle in the haystack, that it's about loving myself. I don't control anyone else in the world. I shouldn't try to control anyone else in the world. And if we've been with people who their illusion about what it means to be in a just and fair, and their idea of a good long-term stable relationship is for them to make you defensive or make you have to keep looking, to find the love within them. It's like, people who are loving, and people who choose not to be loving and more motivated by indulgence or ego or fear or whatever, well, they haven't went looking to find the truth maybe. And high vibe Virgo energy is about going within to find the truth. And some people aren't willing to self-reflect. Some people aren't aware of, of the truth. They haven't, good fortune in reverse. They keep doing things the way they do things, and things then don't turn out the way they want. And then they could think that the answer is just to get in another relationship, that they don't have to have good boundaries within themselves. They don't have to do that inner work to love and believe in themselves and heal, I'll just go get in another relationship. Well, that's our codependent energy. It's just like looking to booze or drugs or gambling or whatever, image or status or power or money to be the answer to our problems. The answer to our problem is to learn to love ourselves and get balance within ourselves. Then we have the valley, deep personal strength and peace that assures success. And the valley kind of reminds me of going through the valley of the shadow of death. We go through these dark times. When we go through dark times, do we do this work within ourselves to maintain our balance, to keep focused on the truth, to keep focused on love and listening to our intuition to guide us, to keep growing and maturing ourselves and learning lessons we were meant to learn? Or do we give up and we think the answer is, looking to other people to be that in our life where we don't have to do that work within ourselves? And then we have the key in reverse, successful outcome to a problem. And then turkey in reverse, someone is behaving stupidly. I think when we do this work within ourselves, we realize that to have victory and success in our life doesn't come from acting from pride and ego. Some people think it is, because some people are really defensive to being hurt by love. And then, it's to create these illusions, get in relationships, kind of indulge themselves in it. But then it doesn't turn out correctly, or it doesn't work the way we thought it would work. And part of it is because we weren't willing to acknowledge the fact within ourselves that we could have these illusions. We make other people responsible for us loving ourselves or, making us feel better. It's nice to be in relationships, to be in encouraging and supportive environments, but we have to do this work within ourselves. If we just kind of think, oh, that didn't work, I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to look to see how maybe I had some negative traits and characteristics that contributed to that relationship working out. We have to be willing to see the truth about ourselves, and we also need to be willing to see the truth about some other people we were dealing with. And if we never do that inner work and we look at it as a relationship, a new relationship as the answer, that's it. I'm just going to go get in another relationship. That'll make me look like, I'm healed. But they still haven't solved the problem, and they still emotionally will be turned upside down. So tell us about, let's see, I think I'll use these cards over here. Tell us about the September card, the Virgo Libra energy. Okay, we have these three cards coming out because of the Virgo energy of the Hermit. Some people are harnessing these energies in a high vibe way. Other people might want to move forward with people. The high vibe people are going within to gain insight and wisdom about the people they are currently in a relationship or the people they want to be in a relationship. They're trying to figure out, what the truth of those people are. And other people might want to be in a relationship with someone, but they're hiding the fact that they harness these energies in a shadowy way. So if there's two people in a relationship right now, or it seems to be kind of a mismatched relationship, one is trying to figure out what the truth is because someone could be seeming to hide something. The Knight of Swords, the Libra Justice card, and the Two of Cups. People want to know the truth about what other people think is just and fair and kind of what they're aligned with within themselves. Do people think it's more just and fair to be defensive to being just and fair in a relationship? Do they hide the truth that they're defensive to being just and fair in a relationship? They harness shadowy Libra Virgo energy. We're either willing to align with being just and fair and open and honest and authentic in a relationship, Or we're trying to hide the truth that we think is just and fair to be in a relationship but be defensive to being just and fair or loving. Or I want to be in a relationship but I don't want to go within to gain insight and wisdom about why I'm defensive to being just and fair in a relationship. I have my own ideas about what I think is just and fair in a relationship. I want to be in a relationship to maybe even to hide the truth. Some people right now could be in a relationship because they're trying to hide the truth of who they are. And sometimes if people could have behaved poorly in a past relationship, they want to go get in another relationship. So it looks like, well, I must be a loving person. I must be not the awful person that I might have looked like or other people describe me as. I want to go get in another relationship so it looks like I'm, this loving person. And there's some people in the world right now that could know people who are like that in the world. And those people are starting to wonder if some of the people in their life who they viewed as being loving and just and fair people are really who they say they are. And for some, it's the people that they're dating or in relationship with. Some shadowy people are wondering if other people know the truth about them. And for some of them, they do know the truth about them. And they do know that they're more like defensive or prideful or egotistical or whatever. Tell us about victory, sunrise, and heart. The King of Wands and the Two of Wands. And the reason it came out is because of the Ace of Cups. Some people love themselves. Shadowy Aries energy of the King of Wands can be, I have this illusion about relationships. And I think relationships should be about me. And I'm in denial that it's about love. So everybody can have their idea of what they think is just and fair in a relationship. Some people have this illusion about relationships that I think it should be more about me. My wants, my needs, my lust, my greed, my pride, my ego. I stay in denial of that fact. I like to present myself as a very, Libra energy can be about people's public politician persona. I try to present myself in the world in my Libra Virgo energy that I'm very stable and grounded and just and fair and maybe put in a lot of work and effort to have this certain image in the world of how I want people to view me. But actually, they harness more shadowy Aries energy, which is kind of funny because the opposite sign of Libra, the Two of Swords is Libra energy, is Aries energy. And people have to learn lessons in all these different zodiac traits and characteristics because we all tap into them at different times. Some people, whether they're a Libra or not, some people really try to present themselves as this just and fair and stable person, but internally they really operate more from being motivated and inspired to be in denial of the truth, but they want to be in relationships, and their idea of a just and fair relationship and their life is to keep being in denial that they might be self-centered, bossy, controlling, all about themselves. And if they get in relationships with people who are intuitive and are more aligned with harnessing high vibe Aries, high vibe Libra, high vibe Pisces, they want a dream to come into reality. And sometimes people get into relationships with people and they don't realize that they harness these energies differently. And then the loving people can kind of feel stuck in that relationship because they're in a relationship with someone who doesn't want to be just and fair and wants it to be all about them. Let's go back here for a minute and look at this good fortune card in reverse. Oh, that's a lot. Well, we have some things that were hidden about the Nine of Pentacles, Virgo energy again. Some people could have been in a relationship that seemed just and fair, like it was going to move forward, like a dream was going to come into reality. But someone could have been hiding that they wanted to be single, or looking back at someone in their past, waiting to see if that person became single, because they could have just been creating an illusion in a relationship that they were in, kind of indulging in a relationship. And maybe because someone they had wanted to be in a relationship, things didn't work out. The only thing is, for some people, when a relationship didn't work out, yes, some people did the inner work to know their worth and value and still love themselves. And even though that situation didn't work out, they went within to learn the lessons they were meant to learn from it, to know their worth and value. And they took action to listen to their intuition and love themselves, to be able to move forward, still believing in themselves, still believing in their dreams, that if that relationship didn't work out, maybe they did this inner work to realize that, I was willing to defend this relationship and the people I was in relationship with. People who I thought harnessed high vibe Libra, high vibe Cancer energy, but I found out that maybe some of the people I was in relationship with were more about defending a relationship, but maybe they were aligned with not wanting to be just and fair, where they can shadowy Cancer energy. They don't have to be a Cancer sun sign. It's just how they harness their Cancer energy. It's to use their emotions more manipulatively in a relationship to get what they want. And some people think that's just and fair because they hide from the truth that it should be about love. And the people who went within to gain insight and understanding about that, did the work to know their worth and value. Oops, we got to do it the other way. So what the high vibe people did in the Ten of Wands, the Queen of Wands, the Magician, and the Empress card is, again, in Virgo energy, which is about the Pentacles, it's about doing work in the 3D world, those, and investing like time, energy, and effort. The high vibe people put in work and effort to wrap their brain around this game of life, because the Ten of Wands is Sagittarius energy, and it is about higher learning and education. To put in the work, even though it was overwhelming, to detach from some people in their life, or a job, or a friendship, whatever it was, they gave it everything they had to put in the work and effort to love and believe in themselves, to harness high vibe Leo energy, to drop the burden, to complete a cycle, and to be confident within themselves with the Ace of Wands now, having completed a cycle, and to believe in themselves and believe that they can manifest their dreams into reality. And again, the feminines in tarot can talk about the work you do within yourself emotionally. And they've gotten themselves to, in high vibe Libra Taurus energy, supported by their Virgo energy, that they did this work within themselves to get balanced. I might have some fears and insecurities and defensiveness to moving forward in life, but I can't, if something didn't work out and other people aren't being just and fair and loving, there is no abundance here with the good fortune in reverse. I have to keep believing in myself and believing that the divine has a plan for my life. And if I keep focused on love, and high vibe Leo, again, is about giving yourself all the things you wish other people would have given you, being in life-giving energy. I am going to offer love and compassion and forgiveness to the situation. I think if everybody were free to love and give and receive love, they would. But, we can get caught up in our fears and our insecurity and our addictions, even if that's lust and greed and self-centeredness, or fear. Love is what helps us heal so that we can move forward. I'm willing to be in the energy of life-giving energy of love, to free myself, to detach in the past, to wish them peace, and keep believing in myself and believing in my dreams. I'm not going to give up on my dreams just because someone in my life was defensive to being just and fair and loving. I'm not going to let people who are in shadowy energy, who haven't won the battle within themselves, get me sucked in to shadowy energy. And other people could have done exactly the opposite thing. So we can meet people, and it's kind of like meeting someone who could seem to have a lot of similarities to us. We could have similar wounding. We could have grown up similarly. We could have similar belief systems. It's just that some people choose love in how to handle things that happen in their life, and other people kind of could be overwhelmed about going within and putting in the work and effort it takes to free yourself. And so then they resort to operating more from being more inspired to operate from their worldly, egoic, and maybe emotionally defensive nature. And, something didn't work out. I'm in my ego about it, but I want the things that I want in the world. And instead of doing the work to learn the lessons I was meant to learn from that life experience, I'm kind of manipulated by my ego nature. I want what I want, but I don't want to put in the work and effort to grow and mature myself and see the truth. But now, when I move forward in a relationship, I might just try to manipulate loving people to get what I want. Because I've decided I don't want to do love anymore. I get hurt doing that. So then they go get in relationships, and it's kind of more just about themselves. Is this good for my ego and image and my status? Are you like a loving person? Perfect. I'll get in a relationship with you because you're loving. But what you don't know, and you're not seeing the truth of, is I present myself as harnessing these high vibe energies. I'm bold, I'm brave, I'm loving, I'm just, I'm fair, I'm balanced, I'm stable, I'm grounded. But really, it could be that they've decided it's more about getting in a relationship to be indulged, to have the status, to have the image, but not really be vulnerable in love. And until people see the truth about who they are, that could be a pattern that they keep repeating in relationships. Tell us about the shield reverse and the haystack reversed. We have the Fool card. Why do we get drawn and attracted into relationships with people like that? Because we have lessons to learn. The Fool, like on that poster up there. The major arcana, it's on that poster board there. And it talks about how it starts out with the Fool, that we have lessons to learn in life. And so we go on this journey of going through, thinking we want to manifest our dreams. We have these ideas about love and being in a relationship, and we have all these lessons to learn. I love them. And sometimes we've got to learn that if you're a very loving person and you're motivated to be just and fair and loyal and committed in a relationship, it doesn't mean other people are. And it doesn't mean, some people, instead of learning the lessons they were meant to learn from the life experiences they went through, and some people realize that there are really loving people out there in the world, and I can just manipulate them to get what I want because they're so caught up in the illusion of love, and they put in a lot of work and effort to make relationships work if I can get them into the relationship with me. And then I can just kind of sit back and I don't have to put in work and effort. and I can be sitting back and indulging it until they see the truth. And for some of those people, that's the pattern of relationship that happens over and over in their life. They move forward, a relationship doesn't work out because they were hiding, they were defensive to being just and fair, but someone went within to find out the truth, and someone decided, I'm loving and I want to give birth to the dream coming into reality, and the other person is kind of manipulating them and indulging in the things of the world with a loving person. And eventually the loving person is kind of overwhelmed because they're the one maybe putting in this work and effort to make the relationship be in this more just and fair and balanced and stable, grounded, loving way of being. But they realize they're carrying all the load of that. And the other person, it's kind of like if you take action, because loving Pisces, your cup can overflow and you're a very loving, giving person, but it's kind of like your cup never gets filled in return because the other person's cup doesn't overflow. And then sometimes when you're in those type of relationships and you're healing from your past pain and heartbreak and kind of getting more out of your more worldly, egoic view of life and getting caught up in the things of the world, and you're ready to go to the next phase of life and give birth to something new, you've grown and matured yourself in that relationship, the other person can be overwhelmed because you're more independent of them. And we can all get in relationships and not have really learned how to love ourselves. And we can all be kind of codependent and looking to be in a relationship to feel better and feel more stable and grounded within ourselves. But when one person does the work to heal and they're ready to move forward, being more bold and brave and confident and having maybe a relationship deepen, that can be when the other person could have a problem, because in order for them to move forward with you to that new level of life, there's maybe some things that they'd have to move away from, things that they've been hiding. And it could be that I never planned to do the work to change. I'm happy living my life like this. And if you become more bold and brave and confident within yourself, and you've learned to love yourself, you're not as codependent on me. And then maybe, it wouldn't be where it's as much about them, and it has to become a more just and fair relationship. And that's when some people maybe really don't like it. And that's not the type of relationship they want to be in. They had their own ideas of what the perfect relationship was, and it wasn't for them to have to give birth to anything new and become more independent of their ideas about what it meant to be in a relationship, or become more independent from some of their fears or their insecurities, or being indulged in a relationship, or kind of feeling like it should be more about them than other people. And that's when, the people who are in a relationship are wondering, why isn't this relationship moving forward? I thought this was about taking a leap of faith to go to the next phase of this relationship. And then these cards had come out with the Fool card that weren't showing themselves. And the reason it came out is the Six of Swords. Some people are like, the Six of Swords and the Five of Swords and the Seven of Swords are all Aquarius energy, which can all be about, I had this dream, I thought we were going to bring this, I thought we were going to take action in truth and love to expand our perception of ourselves and the world around us, and expand kind of exploring the emotional depths of this relationship more. And some people are like, oh shit, no, I gotta leave. That's taking me into unknown territory. And I don't want to go. I like to stay in the shallow end. I don't want to go to the deep end of the pool emotionally. And some people didn't move forward with people, and some people won't be moving forward with people right now. And it could be partly because, we either indulge our more fearful, insecure, immature, indulgent nature, which is lacking good boundaries, and the haystack. Some people like to keep their more authentic, loving nature hidden in the illusion. And until somebody sees the truth, that, oh my gosh, trying to get to your more authentic nature or your more loving nature, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You got it buried in there, but who can find it? And that's when, relationships can separate, and some relationships are separating right now. And again, it could have been because they could not know how you do this in your life. How is it that you love and believe in yourself, to not be defensive, to not hide like your authentic nature? Hiding a needle in a haystack is kind of reminding me of hiding your light under the bushel basket. You're supposed to let your authentic nature shine. And some people align with more of their worldly, egoic nature, and they keep their authentic nature buried. And they never really live their authentic life. Their life is all about being conformed to the world. And they never transform their life by being transformed by the renewing of their mind, seeing the truth, expanding their perception of themselves and the world around them, to keep being willing to face their fears and insecurities and to grow to their full potential. They're like, I'm good with this. I'm good conforming to the world. I've got the money, I got the status, I got the image. I'm sure I can find someone to get in a relationship with me if I'm single, and I might be victorious and successful and have this public persona and image. I'm sure there's going to be other people who don't know the truth of me, and they might be people who aren't willing to take a leap of faith to look at life differently either. And they're happy living their life that way, and that's fine. Different strokes for different folks. We all have free will to manifest our life the way we want to manifest it. But if we get in relationships with people who aren't motivated and inspired to face their fears and heal from past pain and heartbreak so they don't carry that around for the next 10 years, who want to be free of it, who have hope and faith and belief that they can heal because they want to be free, because that's what high vibe energy is about, being free. Not because shadow energy is represented by the devil, feeling oppressed and limited and enslaved and imprisoned and confined and restricted. Who wants to keep doing that? But part of that can be just conforming to the world. Make your life about the world, get in a relationship, have the status, have the image, have the money, have a job, whatever. But don't make your life about anything more than what the world offers you. And the divine wants people to be free to explore the mysteries of life. We're emotionally complex human beings. To explore the highs and lows of life emotionally, to overcome our fears, to truly become all that we can be. We're still probably going to have jobs. We're probably still going to be in relationships. But are we willing to be in those and still be willing to let love and intuition guide us, and know that our people that we work with in relationships, they have their own things that they're motivated and inspired by that might be different than what we're motivated and inspired by. But if everybody's moving forward in truth and love and justice and fairness, we boldly move with them to watch them grow into being all they can be, as we also try to grow into all we can be. And some people are like, oh my God, that is so far out of my comfort zone. I just want to make my life about the world, or I want to get in a relationship where people stay in a relationship with me out of their own fear or insecurity, or because I have money and status and image and they're willing to indulge me and give up their dreams because I have these things of the world that, it looks like by worldly standards, we got it all. Because people are going to move forward in life differently now. People experience something that didn't work. Some people kind of gave up on their dreams, or they never had the dream of being in deep, meaningful, loving, authentic, warm, where they're authentically themselves anyway. And they're going to keep moving forward the way they live life. They've still got some lessons to learn about seeing the truth and seeing life from a higher perspective. Maybe you could just be caught up in the illusion of the world or themselves or addictions or lust or greed or just not being free, really, conforming to the world. So people are going to move forward differently depending on how they harness these high vibe energies. The shadowy people, or those more caught up in the illusion of the world, they want to keep moving forward in their more worldly, kind of emotionally defensive, I think I know better. If I do love and do a deep, meaningful relationship, it could not work out again. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to make my life about creating the illusion that I'm stable and grounded and loving to get people to get in a relationship with me. If they start to see the truth of it and they move on, okay, see ya. I'll go find someone else to get in a relationship with. They could be charming, attractive, whatever they got, they just think they'll use that, and they don't have to look at life from a higher perspective. They don't have to see the truth. They don't have to heal. And they're just going to keep moving forward, doing life the way they've done it. But they're going to hide from the people they go get in a relationship with that they harness these energies. They reject harnessing these energies in a high vibe way. And that might be why some people in their past moved away from them. 2 of Wands, 5 of Wands, High Priestess, 2 of Pentacles. They're not bold and brave enough to change and take inspired action within their own foundation to listen to their intuition, because we all have our intuition. Our intuition tells us, you shouldn't do that. I don't think this is a good idea. I think this is a mistake, but in our pride and ego, we think we know best. Or, well, but I don't want you to do what I want. I know what my intuition wants me to do and like what would be the just and fair and loving thing to do, but I don't either want to be just and fair or I don't want to be loving. I want what I want. And they hide that they juggle people, that they get in relationships with people, and they have this like dualistic nature about them. I present myself as one way in the world, but behind the scenes, that's not the truth of who I am. I want people to view me as this just and fair and loving and stable and grounded person, but really, I have a lot of inner conflict about listening to my intuition. So guess what happens when we move forward in relationships and my intuition is telling me to do one thing, that the answer to my mental conflict is to speak the truth, to act in love, to be just and fair, to maintain balance within myself. It's like, I have inner conflict about that. I know. I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to take action maybe to manipulate someone, to be defensive. I'm going to try to manipulate someone to do what I want, basically. Because if we're not being just and fair and truthful and honest and having hope and faith and belief and being loving in a relationship, we might not want those people to move away, but we just don't want to do the relationship that way. We want them to kind of indulge us in the way that we want to do the relationship. And hoping that maybe the High Priestess is like Pisces Cancer energy and the 2 of Pentacles is Capricorn energy. I'm going to turn my back on them and I'm going to take a risk to do something, maybe even to move away from them, maybe to be hurtful or unkind or bossy or controlling or whatever. And I bet they're hoping it'll maybe cause inner conflict in the loving people in their life from continuing to love themselves and believe in themselves and hoping that maybe those people will quit having good boundaries and loving themselves and will come back and offer them a cup of love and do the relationship the way they want to do it. And for some of those people, it didn't work out, or they tried it right now for the last time in a relationship or a workplace, and some other people are going to listen to their intuition. It's like, I have tried to be loving and nurturing and encouraging and supportive of you, and I can't figure it out. That's like the Virgo hermit. This person who presents himself as being all these ways of being in the world. I'm not selfish and greedy. I'm not prideful and egotistical. And they probably haven't showed that side of themselves, and someone just can't figure out, like, why aren't they moving forward in a more just and fair and loving manner? Why do they do these things that are kind of immature and reckless or prideful or egotistical or manipulative, where I feel like I'm being manipulated? If people love me, they shouldn't try to manipulate me. If people love me, they shouldn't turn their back to me, hoping it gets me in my ego and gets me in my fear and my insecurity. People who love me shouldn't want me to feel that way. And some people have had a hard time and putting in a lot of work and effort to maybe make a relationship work. And some of those people are seeing the truth. That people who really want to be in a just and fair and loving relationship would defend this relationship. But why do we sometimes move away from relationships like that? Because we were hiding. We maybe didn't want to be just and fair in a relationship. That we're defensive to being just and fair in a relationship. We have our own ideas of what a just and fair relationship looks like. And it could be more about them. And if other people start to see the truth of that, which some people in a relationship right now are just starting to see the truth of that if this person was wanting to be truthful and just and fair and loving in a relationship, they would be. And if they're not, it's because they don't want to be. And it could be a manipulation tactic. I like the fact that you're loving and that you're single or you're stable or you're grounded or you're abundant in lots of ways. I just don't want to do the relationship your way. I want to manipulate you to keep staying maybe in a relationship with me, but I want the scales of justice tipped in my favor, where it's more about me than you or anyone else. Shadowy Aquarius in the Six of Swords can be, I'm willing to move forward with you in a relationship, but you have to kind of indulge me in a relationship. I have inner conflict about listening to my intuition and doing the work it takes to be more balanced within myself. So I might be emotionally defensive, and you have to enable letting me be emotionally defensive and not kind of moving forward with you in a deep, meaningful relationship. If we're going to move forward, it's going to be more about me having to be indulged being the center of attention in a relationship. You have to be willing to indulge me, either that I'm just emotionally defensive and maybe, where it feels more like I have sex with you, and the sex could be great, whatever. But it just feels like it's not really love. And you want a deep, meaningful relationship, and it's causing you mental conflict because you think the person you're in a relationship with isn't really emotionally investing in you, because they could think in their emotionally defensive nature, then if I don't really authentically emotionally invest in you, then if it doesn't work out, then I won't be hurt and I can just go get in another relationship. And I don't know, I guess there could be some people who could be in relationships with people for a long period of time, and they just continually keep telling themselves that this isn't love, this isn't that, and it's just convincing themselves that this relationship. I'm in it for whatever reason I'm in it. I'm willing to stay in it for whatever reason I'm willing to stay in it. I'm just not willing to really authentically invest myself in this relationship. And some of you have already been through something like that and you moved away. Some other people are just seeing the truth of the relationship that they're in. Tell us about the deep personal strength and peace that assures success, realizing something isn't the answer, probably because you kind of been dealing with a turkey, someone who behaves stupidly. You know, if you're a loving, just, and fair, and nurturing, and encouraging, and supportive person, and when you're in relationships, you don't indulge in your shadowy nature, being petty and envious and jealous and competitive and prideful and egotistical and immature. Yeah, those people took a foolish risk, because what they didn't know is that people have been doing this work within themselves to stand up for themselves and what they believe in and what they think is like just and fair and loving. And they've been taking some action, like within their own foundation, to quit being confused and kind of in denial of the truth, to love themselves enough to listen to their intuition and what their intuition, because people can be in a shadowy relationship or workplace and they also don't want to see the truth, because it would require that they be bold and brave and take action on that truth. So then we want to stay in denial of it. And then, people who realize, oh, are you fearful of moving away? It's just like anybody who abuses power in a relationship. It doesn't matter if it's at a workplace, in a friendship, or a romantic relationship. Some of those people are hiding that they could be very smart people, but they use their intuition in a shadowy way. I bet if I get someone in a relationship that, because these people have never grown and changed and detached from their ways of being, and they could be very kind of worried about their public image and how people view them in the world. If I can just get this person in a relationship with me, I bet even if I start to juggle them and not really invest in them, and even if I start to kind of be manipulative or competitive in a relationship, and even if I start to take some foolish risks in the relationship, because I was always hiding that I really think it should be more about me, and I'm playing on your codependence and your ego, I'm hoping that if I get in a relationship with you and then I start to do these things where instead of moving forward the way you wanted us to move forward, it's more about you continually offering me love and it being more about me. And then because you don't want this relationship to end, that you'll stay in it. Basically, for some people, I'm just describing your old relationship and how you had to work through seeing the truth of all of this. But they were really counting on you juggling, that you wouldn't love and believe in yourself enough and believe in your dreams enough, and you'd already invested in this, that you wouldn't, for the ego and the image and what people would think, that you wouldn't leave. And for some of them, they didn't know that, because these cards weren't showing themselves, they didn't know that you harness high vibe Aries energy, they harness shadowy Aries energy, that you do believe in yourself, and that when you have inner conflict, you do listen to your intuition and you do put in work to maintain balance within yourself, because you don't want to act in ways that you're not proud of. You could act like how they act in the relationship. Well, then I'm going to go do this, and then I'm going to act that way. And then, we end up in this completely ugly relationship. And some of you did this work within yourself to realize that your dream couldn't come into reality with them. From the 2 to the 3 of Wands, you took back the 3 of Wands. I see my dream can't come into reality here. I need to listen to my intuition and love myself, to be bold and brave enough to believe in myself. And if my intuition is telling me this person is trying to hide the truth, this person isn't being just and fair, this person isn't being loving, I need to quit being in denial of the truth, because the truth sets me free. And if I want my dreams to come into reality, I need to love and believe in myself enough to move away from them, because my dream can't come into reality with someone who wants to hide from the truth that it's supposed to be about love and being just and fair, and that it is about people doing the work to deal with their own inner conflict. And because they never, either they misuse their intellect for shadowy reasons to manipulate people, or they know that they don't want to go live their life differently because they would have to get out of their ego or their emotionally defensive nature or their self-centered nature, or being about being indulged in a relationship and some illusion they had that that's how relationships are supposed to work. And if they don't want to detach from that view of life, or even admit to themselves, wow, I was kind of selfish and greedy, or wow, I do have these illusions about relationships where I kind of think it's more about me than other people. I am, some people go to a lot of efforts not to see the truth, that they're prideful, egotistical, and self-centered, or immature, or don't like to be just and fair and like to be indulged. Tell us about these last three cards. So you basically had to get out of your ego. Because we can kind of keep telling God, but no, God, this is the person. No, God, I want to stay here. No, God, no, God. And God's infinitely patient. You can keep hiding from the truth your whole life if you want. You have free will. If you want to stay in a workplace or a friendship or relationship with people who are manipulating you, basically stealing from you like a thief, I know you're loving and you're just and fair, but I'm going to use the love that you have for me to manipulate you and control you. I don't like that you love and believe in yourself, and I might actually do some things to try to overwhelm you and instill fear and insecurity in you, because I don't like it that you love and believe in yourself. Your light irritates my demons. And some of you are like, I'm letting go of thinking for some reason that these people are the key to me having victory and success in my life. Because if they're aligned with shadowy energy and they haven't freed themselves, then my dreams can't come into reality with them. Three of Pentacles and the World, because of the Strength card, because you want your dreams to come into reality. So the Three of Pentacles can be either just our own worldly nature and aligning with our more worldly nature and thinking that if I just work with the things of the world, or people who have the things of the world, or my fear or my insecurity or my lust or my greed, that'll make me happy, or indulgence. It's realizing that has to come to an end. I can't work with those people. I can't look to those things in my life that I might have used to look to make me happy or feel better. I need to put an end to that old dream. And in my Leo Strength card, I need to learn the lessons I was meant to learn in life to grow and mature myself and temper my own fears, my own insecurities, and heal from my own past pain and heartbreak, to be bold and brave and strong enough to love myself. Because if I don't align with love, and if I don't listen to my intuition when I do get in relationships with people who are more worldly focused or ego focused, who turn their back on learning lessons in life, who never get out of their more egoic nature and they lack self-discipline within themselves, who could then, think other people should indulge them in their more shadowy way of being. I can't do that. My dream can't come into reality with those people. And I need to get out of my ego and temper my own fears and insecurities and put in work and effort to close out that cycle of life, to work with other people. You could have been dealing with people before who harness shadowy Capricorn, shadowy Leo, shadowy Aries, and you want to work together with people. Shadowy Capricorn is represented by the devil. I want to work together with people in high vibe Capricorn who freed themselves from their more fearful, insecure, emotionally defensive, worldly nature, having priority in their life, who've learned that their dreams can't come into reality just with that, because we're only working with half the foundation. We all work with the world. We all have jobs and things like that. But are we going to make that the sole focus of our life at the expense of love? To have a truly abundant foundation, we need to have balance within ourselves, where we love ourselves, we listen to our intuition to guide us, not just our lust and our greed and our pride and our ego, or we're going to run our life off into the ditch. And some people have seen that their life doesn't get out of the ditch. It's in the ditch of the world and ego, buried in it. But some of those people are okay with it because their life is all about the world. They're in their ego. It's all about their dreams coming into reality using the things of the world. I have to have a certain status. I have to have a certain image. I have to have a certain amount of money. Then I'll be happy. I have to keep indulging in these things. I'm sure they'll make me happy. Or just being codependent on other people, where I don't have to do the work within myself. Don't I just go get in another relationship and that's the answer to my problems? And high vibe people want to work together with people who are bold and brave and confident enough to put in the work and effort to grow and mature themselves, to temper their illusions and their self-centeredness, or thinking relationships should just be about them, and their more worldly nature, to be bold and brave and strong enough to be authentically themselves in the world, and to be authentic and vulnerable and loving in relationships. Some people are motivated and inspired and want that. Other people don't want that. And it's just for us to see the truth. Who does want those things in life and who doesn't? So I think some people have already moved on. You've closed out that chapter. You're listening to your intuition, being strong, waiting for the divine as you just go live your life and go out there in the world, not trying to force the wheel in your favor, not taking action out of pride and ego. Come on, God, this is taking too long, because that won't work out the way you want. It's just to go live and enjoy your life, keep moving forward in truth and love. There's going to be other people in the world who see that you're not someone who's in those shadowy traits and characteristics that's going to want to be in a relationship with you, because they've gotten out of relationships like that also. And you might have communicated to someone as as you move forward in life. You could communicate to other people, about the lessons you've learned in life. Some of those people, some of those people that you meet in life are free and available to be in relationships with you. And they're going to, if they had been living life a little bit more emotionally defensive or kind of in their ego, or in some relationship like this where they were being indulged or other people were indulging them in a way, or caught up in the illusion of the world, the people who are willing to put an end to their more egoic view of life and who've done the inner work within themselves to listen to their intuition are going to take a leap of faith with you to move forward with you. And the people who are hiding, that they really don't want to deal with their inner conflict, aren't going to be people who communicate with you or put in work and effort. And if some people come towards you and your intuition tells you that they're hiding, that, they just might be trying to use you as a pawn in a manipulation game, or that they're a player or something like that, I think you'll listen to your intuition and shut that down. Even though you could want to be in a relationship with that person or to be in a relationship with someone, but you're not willing to give up your dreams for something less than you deserve. And when other people see that you're not willing to settle for less than you deserve, some of the people who might have wanted it to be more their way are going to realize they better get their ass in gear, or, you're moving on with other people. And you don't really care who it is. It's like, God, it doesn't have to be a certain person. I'm out of my ego about it. I want the people who are just and fair and loving and encouraging and supportive. I don't care which person it is, or what people I meet. I just want the people who have those traits and characteristics, because those are the people my dreams can come into reality. Tell us about the reason for the reading was a younger woman. But again, that could just mean someone who emotionally, you're going to meet different types. This is kind of reminding me of a page. You have that hopeful, believing nature to go on a new journey in life, to be truthful and honest and loving and hopeful and believing. You want to be in relationships with other people who have that hopeful, believing nature. And some people reject that nature within themselves. And again, as you meet different people in the world who has that more hopeful, believing, authentic nature about them, and who buried that in the haystack a long time ago, and now it's all, nobody can find it. Like finding a needle in a haystack. They're just going to keeping that hidden, never let their inner child, more hopeful, believing nature out in the world to play. It's all about creating an illusion and manipulating people to get what they want. The Nine of Cups, the Justice card, High Priestess, Fool, Seven of Pentacles. And the reason is because of the Six of Swords. Some people are going to keep moving forward in their pride and ego. It's all about indulging themselves. And they think it's just and fair to hide that they're kind of foolish and immature. And that they take these foolish risks in relationships, or even the risk to get in a relationship and present themselves as something different than they are. But they don't want to invest in truth and love. They don't want to look at life from a higher perspective. They want to invest in repeating these old patterns of moving forward more in their worldly view of life, indulging in ego and image and status as being the most important thing. There is no higher truth or justice to aspire to, some of them could think. And of course they think it's just and fair, that they're right, because we all think we're right, whatever we're doing in our life most of the time, because that's how we view life. But I think some of them could be aware of the truth. And I think that's going to wear on them. That they had the opportunity to invest in really bringing their dreams into reality. But they hide their more bold, brave, confident nature, willing to take a risk. And they live more from their mind and their heart. And decided, I think I can make things go my way without me having to be authentic and bold and brave and loving in the world. And I'm going to hide that I'm taking this risk to invest in living from my more emotionally defensive, manipulative way of living life. And they're hoping it's going to turn out the way they thought. But I just don't think that's the way the world is set up. If they get, the pattern is going to keep repeating itself for them. People eventually realize that things aren't going the way they wanted in a relationship with someone like this. And those people eventually listen to their intuition and they move away from them because they're not willing to give up their dreams and live a life of illusion and superficiality and keep, and those people kind of are. And the people who might be willing to stay in a relationship with them might be people who are like them. And then we have two people in a relationship where nobody's willing to really be authentically vulnerable and loving in a relationship. Everybody's kind of emotionally defensive. Everybody's trying to manipulate other people into believing that they are who they say they are when they're not. And it's all this life of this false facade. Oh my God, can you imagine how overwhelming that is? To always know that you're in your ego and your fear and your insecurity and your more immature, indulgent, or lustful, greedy nature, and you're always trying to manipulate other people to do what you want. If some of these people do have money and status and whatever, and they think they can use those things to get people to be in a relationship, yeah, they might. They just might, like everybody in the world, there's going to be loving people and kind of not so loving people. And they might get some people who are willing to keep staying in a relationship with them for the status and the image and the money. And they're both going to feel overwhelmed and manipulated. But if they're that manipulated by their image or their ego or the world, and they're not willing to deal with their own fears or insecurities or see the truth that they're kind of prideful or manipulative or bossy or controlling or materialistic, well, then I guess they'll just wonder why they're so overwhelmed in a relationship that seems to have it all. It's because maybe now they're in a relationship with someone who isn't a loving and nurturing person, and they got in a relationship with someone like themselves. And kind of like justice has been served. And they got, the people who are willing to stay with them are willing to stay with them because it's good for their ego and good for their image. And, they want the money or whatever. And it's all trying to get them to see the truth. That either you haven't loved and believed in yourself enough, and you've lived in this more worldly, egoic way of living life. It's about being illuminated to the truth. Other people didn't act that way in relationships because they knew they wouldn't feel proud of themselves. And those people are moving on to get in relationships with other people who are just and fair and loving. So both people might end up having to stay in the ways of being they aligned with. It's only that the loving people are going to feel balanced and stable and grounded and proud of themselves and working with other loving and just and fair people. And the people who weren't willing to do that are probably going to be in relationships with other people who are like themselves. And anybody can free themselves whenever they want. But if any of you have run your life off into the ditch, thinking the way you were living your life was the answer and those things you were indulging in to make you feel better, it creates a little hell in our life, but it can be really hard to detach from it because we've become so codependent on those things or those people. And some people who thought they were really smart, I'm not going to get hurt by love, are really going to learn a lesson the hard way. But, sometimes we've all had to learn lessons that way. And other people have learned those lessons, didn't want to repeat that pattern when they saw the truth that somebody was acting in a way that was bossy or controlling or selfish or prideful or unjust or unfair, and they'd already been in relationships like that. I'm leaving. And they left. No, I'm not staying in hell with you. So there you go, Pisces. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.